Hi, everyone. We are in conversation today with Patrick Rogers, who heads marketing at LawYaw. Patrick, very nice to have you join Patrice and me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Could you give us a high-level overview about LawYaw and what specific challenge is LawYaw helping solve in the legal industry today?
Yeah, so LawYaw is a document automation software solution designed specifically for legal professionals across a sort of spectrum of legal services. So we work with solo, small, and mid-sized law firms. We work with legal aid organizations, nonprofit organizations, and some alternative legal service providers to really deliver sort of best-in-class document automation solutions that include the ability to auto-complete sets of court forms, the ability to generate high-quality custom legal documents, send them for e-sign. We also have remote intake solutions for information gathering, and then enable those end-to-end workflows where a firm or a client could fill out information in a questionnaire, have that information populated into relevant sets of legal documents, generate those documents, and then send them for e-sign in one sort of dynamic platform.
Thank you for that description, Patrick. What has been your experience working with an ALSP like LegalEase Solutions?
So LawYaw is a company that has quite a bit of sort of legal experience in its DNA. We have a handful of attorneys who are on staff working in a variety of different sort of capacities inside of the company. And they bring with them sort of decades of past professional experience. And they have worked with ALSPs on a variety of different projects in that time, from mass contract negotiations and sort of lifecycle management tasks to electronic discovery and forensics, as well as compliance for regulatory reviews. So when LawYaw needed help really kind of figuring out some of our challenges as it related to scaling up our ability to code and update forms and documents within the platform, the attorneys at the company really helped to steer us towards professional help from an ALSP, and it was definitely the right decision to make.
Great to hear.
Patrick, do you think ALSPs are leading and paving the way for innovation when compared to law firms? I'm pretty sure you always hear this in the legal world, an ALSP versus a law firm. So where do you think ALSPs are?
I mean, in many ways, absolutely. ALSPs are helping to drive a significant amount of innovation, both inside of the industry and on behalf of law firms. I think, the growth and the increasing sophistication that ALSPs offer is really a reflection of this massive global need for practical and affordable and efficient legal services. And that's something that's really not being met by sort of the expensive and inflexible business models of many of the world's larger law firms. So, when we sort of look at kind of the larger legal landscape and think about sort of delivering lower cost legal services, that really requires a lower profit margin, which means that ALSPs are really required to be on the leading edge of a lot of emerging technology to help reduce overhead and drive efficiency. And so ALSPs and legal technology companies are really well aligned in that way. And I think that both of us in different ways will ultimately influence the direction that law firms end up taking in a lot of ways. So it's not to say that there aren't law firms out there who are doing innovative things. There certainly are a lot of law firms that are pushing the boundaries of legal service delivery. But there are a lot of firms that weren't necessarily feeling any pressure to innovate until fairly recently.
Absolutely. I think the pandemic was a wake-up call for a lot of law firms, but that's great to hear.
Yeah, by the way, that was a really great answer, Thank you for that. You mentioned earlier that our lawyers did some coding for you. What are some of the successes that you've noticed when partnering with us?
I mean, as a small technology company, we're about 25 employees right now. And so LegalEase has been absolutely essential, just as an addition to our team, because it allowed us to scale several functions much more quickly than we would have if we'd been tasked with trying to hire the necessary expertise to actually handle those tasks, at the volume that we were trying to grow. So I think that's, really a credit to the talent and expertise that's a specific challenge to growing teams inside of the legal industry in an effective way. There's, I think, a shortage of talent in a lot of ways right now, and ALSPs are helping to kind of fill that gap. So when we were looking at trying to find some of those specialized functions, LegalEase was able to provide us with people who were really qualified and capable, and were able to deliver that very quickly. So talent is really important, but it's also only one part of the equation. So I think that has been really complemented by the responsiveness that you guys have shown us as a client of yours. You've been able to really quickly accommodate our sort of ever-changing needs and our project requirements as we have been dealing with challenges on our end. So you've had a very client-centered approach, and you've been able to provide very timely updates and be available on short notice and help us with things that we wouldn't have been able to do on our own, certainly with a relatively small team. So those are all of the things that we want out of a great partner.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. Thank you so much, Patrick. We are grateful to have you, and we look forward to the next adventure. Thank you very much for your time today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.